Now guys, for most of you who are watching, I'm assuming that you are using Photoshop, especially if you watch my channel. That's simply because I use this program and all of my tutorials are based on this program. So since you're using Photoshop, it would make sense that you familiarize yourself with this program and really learn these shortcuts, which are just going to help speed up your process. So what I'm going to do in this video, for the majority of it, is I'm going to run through some really essential keyboard shortcuts, and I want you guys to commit it to memory. Okay guys, let's get started. Now the first thing that I want to show you guys is how to create a smart object. You already know how to do this, but I'll just quickly repeat it so that you have an understanding. Let's just create a random object on a new layer. Let's fill it in. So deselect, and now we have a object, as you can see on layer 1. How you would turn this into a smart object normally is you would right click and then you'd have to look for it and convert it into a smart object. Now Photoshop actually doesn't have a shortcut set to convert into a smart object. You'd simply have to just right click on this layer and look for it and then convert it into a smart object, and you'll find yourself sometimes not able to find it and you'll just be looking for it and wasting time. So how can we eliminate that problem? The answer is to create our own keyboard shortcut for this action. So let's go to edit, let's click on keyboard shortcuts right here, and now we need to go into layer. Where it says layer, open up that arrow like so, and then just keep scrolling down until you find convert to smart object. As you can see, we found it right here. Let's click on it, and now it allows us to add in our custom keyboard shortcut to signal this action. So what we can type in, for example, if I was just to type in Command and L, which is for levels, it will come up with a warning sign telling you that that shortcut already exists. You can override it and accept the conflict, but I would advise you to find a shortcut which isn't already existing on Photoshop. So what I've found to work in this case is Command Shift and 0. I was experimenting for a bit and I found that there was no existing shortcut for this one. So we are now just going to simply press enter, and now that is our new shortcut for that specific action. And now if we just click OK, I can simply now just create a new layer. Let's just create another square, fill that in like so, and now all I need to do is just press Command Shift and 0, and I have just created a smart object. Now this will save you a lot of time. Now the next keyboard shortcut ties in perfectly with what we have just done. Since we've turned this into a smart object, typically the next step after that would be to use Camera Raw Filter. That's what I do in most of my tutorials. You'll see that I will first convert it into a smart object, and then I will go ahead and open up Camera Raw Filter. If you were to just open up Camera Raw Filter the normal way, you would have to go to Filter and then click on Camera Raw Filter. Now, just to prove how efficient this process of these two steps are, I will now just delete all the layers. I will go ahead and create a new shape like so, and now all I need to do is simply go Command Shift and 0 to convert to smart object and Command Shift A. And as you can see, I have now done 2 steps in literally 2 or 3 seconds, which is much faster than it would have taken me if I were to do things manually. So again, create your own manual keyboard shortcut for converting into a smart object. In this case, I picked Command Shift and 0, and we followed that up with the keyboard shortcut for Camera Raw Filter, which is Command or Control Shift and A. So commit that to memory as well. Okay guys, the next keyboard shortcut is to open up the ruler. Now most of you may know this, but it's Command or Control and R. Once you do that, press Command or Control R like so. Both the vertical and horizontal rulers will appear. And again, the ruler is very useful for making guidelines. If you want to align things, say you want all your text to be level, in these scenarios the ruler will be your best friend. So again, just remember that you can use these rulers to align things and really just check out the spacing on both sides. With the rulers you can right click and you can also change the measurements to either inches, millimeters, centimeters, whatever you like. Again, that's Command or Control R for the ruler. Okay, moving on to the next keyboard shortcut, and this is Command or Control E, and this is going to be to merge layers together. Again, a fairly simple shortcut that most of you may already know about. So just to give a quick visual example, I will just duplicate this layer. So just press Alt or Option and drag like so. Not sure where the smiley face came from. We will now go ahead and select both of these layers and then simply press Command or Control E like so, and that just merges both of these layers into one layer. This is going to save you time, whereas if you did manual way, you would have to first highlight both layers, right click and then find merge layers, which is just a waste of time. So learn this shortcut. Again, that's Command or Control E for merging layers. Okay, moving on to the next keyboard shortcut, and this is to duplicate layers, and that is Command or Control J. Now there are a couple of ways to duplicate a layer. You could just simply click on the layer and hold down Alt or Option and drag like so in order to create a duplicate. But this method works best when there are only a couple of layers. If there is a lot of layers, then just simply press Command or Control J like so, and as you can see we have just created a duplicate, a fairly simple keyboard shortcut that most of you may know about. I'm just going to make a couple more duplicates like so, and I'll just place these on the canvas in random places. What I want to show you guys now is how you can hover over different layers without using the mouse. So what you will need to do is press Alt or Option and then use the brackets keys to move up or down. So if you use the left bracket key, it goes down, and if you use the right bracket key, it goes up. And this is just basically going to help you scroll through layers, especially if you don't want to scroll down on the layers panel with the mouse. Now again, let me just make a couple more duplicates, as you can see right now, and now you can see that I would have to scroll down in order to reach a layer further down. So what we can do if we have this new method is we can just simply hold down Alt or Option and then just scroll down like this. So we can do this, go up or down without having to use the mouse. It just helps to do things in a faster manner. Again, that's Alt or Option, and then you are just using the bracket keys both left and right in order to go up and down. Okay guys, now the next step which I'm about to show you follows on from the previous step of using Alt or Option and the bracket keys to hover between different layers. Now I'm just going to quickly rename a layer in the middle like so, and I will just rename this to box for example so that you can see it very clearly. And now if we press Command and use the bracket keys, we can actually move this layer up or down. So with Option you are just simply hovering over them. With the bracket keys, when you press Command or Control, you can simply just go ahead and then just bring it up or down like so, using the right or left bracket key. This will be particularly useful, especially if you just want to shuffle layers very quickly and you don't want to have to use the mouse key to do it. Okay guys, let's try and bang through these. So what we will talk about now guys is grouping layers. So this is fairly simple, so I'm pretty sure most of you know this one, but you simply just select 4 different squares. So let's just quickly select all the squares for the green one, and then we'll just press Command or Control and G, and that's now just going to group all those squares into one group. You can rename groups like so, so you can name this 2 green squares. You can even just right click and color code these, and this just helps with keeping organized. For example, now we can just go ahead and just hold down Shift to select all the red layers, then we'll press Command or Control G, and then we can just rename this 2 red squares like so, and then just right click and color code it, and this just helps to make things organized. And when you are trying to be efficient, if you have layers all over the place, it can get quite messy and you'll end up finding yourself wasting a lot of time just trying to find layers. So again, that's Command or Control G to group, and this is going to help you keep organized and save you time and help you be more efficient. Okay, moving on to the next keyboard shortcut, and this is probably the most used keyboard shortcut for anyone that uses this program, and that is going to be to undo. And I will just show you what that does if you don't know already. So let me just make a new layer, and I'm just going to simply do that. And now to undo that, we are just going to press Command or Control Z. And again guys, you would be surprised there are people out there in the world who do not know that shortcut, and how much time would they save if they just knew how to do that. So again, that's Command or Control Z in order to undo a step. Okay guys, moving on to the final thing which is going to help you speed up your workflow, and that is going to be to use the brush. So that's B for the brush tool. Now when you want to increase the size of your brush, you can simply use the bracket keys, both left and right, to increase the size of the brush or decrease the size of the brush. What you can also do to adjust the size of the brush is you can hold down Option or Alt and hold down Control at the same time. Then if you just click and drag to the left, you will see that the size of your brush decreases, and if you just drag to the right whilst holding down Option or Alt and Control, you can just drag it like so to either increase or decrease the size of the brush. As you can see in that little black box, it says that the hardness is set to 0, and so if you want to increase the hardness, all you need to do is drag down like so to increase the hardness to 100%, or drag back up to soften the brush. So guys, if you just commit those keyboard shortcuts to memory, you will save yourself a lot of time in the future and in your current workflow process. Just learning one shortcut might save you a bit of time, but if you learn everything in this video and you know all of these different shortcuts, if you combine them together, the amount of time you will save will be drastic, and it will definitely help you for the better. Thank you very much for watching this video, and until next time, peace.